What's up, everyone? Happy Monday, if that's a thing. I guess it's a thing because the Braves are back and playing well. And no one's gotten hurt so far for us, so that is very, very clutch. Max Fried, spring debut, 2 innings, scoreless, 4 strikeouts, no walks. Did have to work out of his second and third 1 out after Eddie lost a ball in the sun that resulted in a double. But was able to pitch around it with a strikeout and a ground out, and then clean second inning with 2 strikeouts, 1, 2, 3, easy breezy. You can check out my recap. I am a little rusty on the recaps. Sorry, I'm getting back in the rhythm of it and watching the Hornets at the same time because the Hornets are playing their best basketball of the year so far. But Ronald Acuna Jr. and Matt Olson look super, super ready. Matt has 4 for 5 already in spring, couple RBIs. Michael Harris II had a big day today. RBI single, RBI triple. Sean Murphy reached base twice, doubled. Smoked a line drive right at third baseman. And walked. Austin Riley had some productive at-bats today. He hasn't gotten the hit column yet, but productive ground out that set up Michael Harris's RBI single with 2 outs in the first. Ozzie had the RBI ground out in a single. Vaughn had a nice sacrifice fly. ABC baseball situation looks solid, and the field hasn't really been tested too much so far, but very solid so far. Spencer Strider looks super ready. Did have a 4-pitch walk, but got a double play to erase that. Had a strikeout. So really good there. Marcelo Iglesias, 1, 2, 3, easy breezy, 2 strikeouts. Literally, if you would have blinked, you really might have missed that one. Super good. Lucas Lipke, really solid. Gave up back-to-back singles after a ground out, but was able to get a double play to get out of that mess. So those are your regulars. Chadwick Trump had an RBI single. Orlando Arcia had a single and a walk. He's had 3 walks in the past 2 days, so he's looking real good. In terms of plate discipline, plates, and eye at the plate, which is really good to see for him. Ed Adrianza had a single as well. What's up, Hudson? Just talking about spring training starts and how it's gone. Obviously, Bryce Elder did not have a fun start yesterday at all. It was just ugly for him. Against the Yankees top of the lineup, they kind of chewed him up a little bit, but a little bit of soft contact too, so getting the rust off for him. Let's see. Initial brushes with the pitch clock, I like that the pace of the game is more the pace of the game is more crisp, but not so fast that it's ruining the game in my view. And obviously, what happened on Saturday, the pitch clock violation thing, I really don't think that's going to happen with too much regularity because it hasn't happened in the couple of years that they've implemented the pitch clock in the minors. So I think it's going to really depend on the umpire discretion. And I think they kind of that was a little wacky and a little weird, that whole situation. But I like the pace of the game so far. I don't think it's taken away from the action. Yeah, they'll make that I agree with. The catcher boxing, because I don't think they completely voiced that to teams. So I think that was a little wacky and janky, and I hope they fix that. And I think that having replaced 8 umpires and having a little bit more fresh new blood that have worked with this pitch clock working in the minor leagues, I think that's going to help as well. You still have a lot of action too, so I've liked what I've seen so far with it, and I'm not. And obviously, we'll see how it plays out in the regular season when things count. But I like the adjustments that the Braves have already made, and I don't think we've had any pitch clock violations ourselves, other than that one on Saturday against the Red Sox. So I think that is really good. Some unfortunate injuries. Gavin Lux was running around the bases and kind of tripped and fell and had to be carted off. So prayers up to Gavin Lux, and that's unfortunate for him because he is finally yeah, I mean that kind of put a damper on the whole pitch clock thing for that happening the first day it was implemented. But I really don't think we're gonna see that too much at all, because like I said, it hadn't happened in the 2 years that they've implemented it in the minors. So I don't see it happening a lot. As long as the umpires are under communicate and understand what's going to go on and establish that early in the ball game, I think it'll be okay. Tyler Glasnow tweaked his oblique. He can't catch a break for the Rays, so he will miss some time, unfortunately. And Aroldis Chapman had a slip and fall, chipped a tooth, and split his lip open. So nothing huge for him, but he's out of game action for a little bit. Procedural stuff for the Braves yesterday. Dennis Santana was claimed on waivers by the Minnesota Twins. I thought he would be a guy fighting for one of those bullpen spots, because even though I thought he had more options left, he only had one option, or he didn't have any options left. And I guess we tried to sneak him through waivers to establish those options more. But that didn't work. Minnesota got him. So, and obviously we like what we see from other guys. Maybe that was a thing. So that's a little unfortunate. that we didn't even see him in live action, but the Braves know best, so I'm going to leave that to them there. And then Yoxel Rios looked really good yesterday. A couple of strikeouts. And Dylan Lee looked really good yesterday as well, so that is good. Hopefully we will see see AJ Minter and those guys real soon. Colin McHugh hasn't played yet. Travis Arnaud hasn't played yet, but there's been a lot of really good stuff. Eddie Rosario has looking like he's seeing the ball really well, hitting the ball hard. Really good to see Sean Murphy have a really good debut in a Braves uniform. And he was able to calm Spencer Strider down after that 4-pitch walk in his inning. So I think we're seeing that leadership already. Sorry, I'm trying to do this and watch the Hornets at the same time because we're playing the best basketball as we've played all year. Manny Machado is reportedly signed a 11-year $350, and I think it's all told it would be $15,460, which is absolutely insane. And I think the only player that deserves that is Shohei Ohtani. But that's just my opinion. But Manny Machado getting what he wants, which is good for him. I just don't know where the Padres are getting all this money, because apparently they're getting ready to offer Juan Soto an extension, and apparently are in play for Shohei Ohtani, who's set to hit the market. Even if the Braves weren't my team, I would respect the way the Braves are doing their contract extensions way more than what the San Diego Padres are doing. Even though I respect it, but they're gonna have like 3 players at age 41, and it's almost like I think my perspective is role players are almost more important than your stars. The Nick Markakises, the Jock Petersons, the Jesse Chavez's, the Luke Jacksons, those guys are just as important, if not more. And I don't know, and but that's just my opinion. I think the role players are honestly more important sometimes. And when you got money locked up in so many different areas, so much money locked up in so many different areas, other things fall off, because after Jake Cronenworth in the Padre lineup, it kind of falls off precipitously. So that's just my opinion on that. But that's the reality, I guess, and is what it is. I think we're going to see Ian Anderson very soon, and Charlie Morton and those guys, and I'm really excited to see Ian Anderson's new slider, because that has gotten a ton of buzz, and I'm really, really excited to see that. And the spicy changeup is still there as well, too, so let's not forget that. And I think with the spicy changeup and Bryce Elder's struggles, in his first start. Maybe that opens the crack a little bit for Ian Anderson, just a little bit more. So I'm just really excited for that. And the bullpen guys have looked really good. Jesse Chavez got dinged up a little bit, but one of them was a flare double, and then a Bobby Dahlbeck two-run mash. So there's that. Yeah. So those are really good stuff. But the Braves started off really solid, and most importantly, no one's gotten hurt. Michael Soroka still battling through his hamstring stuff, so it's still a little bit of a struggle there, but he's still working through it. And Jameson, your Lakers are knocking on those doors after that incredible 27-point comeback yesterday. Yeah, the new slider by Ian Anderson is going to be really fun to watch and see. Really happy and really excited to see that new slider, because we all know the spicy changeup is there, but obviously the fastball command is the telltale sign for Ian Anderson usually. Whether it's going to be a good night or a bad night or whatever the night may be, but he's gotten a lot of good reviews so far. And I haven't heard much about Charlie Morton. I hope everything's good. I know he's a veteran getting his work in, so I guess that's all that matters there, for sure. But that getting to see Lucas Lipke and those guys work today and come, and with a lot of our A guys in, it was nice to see a victory. And even the comeback on Saturday, there was a lot of nice at bats by Braden Shoemake, Eli White. Eli White's had a good open to spring. I think had reached base 3 times, couple of walks, and an RBI double in the game on Saturday. So maybe he's got a little leg up to the left field competition. Yeah, LeBron, I think he said he heard a pop, so that's definitely never good to hear athletes say that they heard a pop. But at least now when they put the Lakers on ESPN, they're at least a fun watch, for sure. So that is good. I think Eli White has gone up in my left field rankings. Marcell Ozuna is down as far as he can possibly be down. He went 0 for 3 yesterday and doesn't even seem like he made any adjustments. So I don't know where that's going to end up at all, but I honestly hope it ends the experiment with Marcell Ozuna. That's just not the experiment, the time with Marcell Ozuna, unless something happened. No, he only played yesterday. Yesterday against the Yankees. How do I feel about Sam Hilliard? I think he's the least likely to make the team. He may actually, because he has no options, he'll make the team. But I think he Jordan is that the third baseman? That's Alex Rodriguez's nephew. I think Jordan Duran. Kevin Pillar. I have high hopes for Kevin Pillar. I think in my rankings we did this last week, but I think given there's only been 3 games, take that by what. But I think Kevin Pillar's veteran experience, been through the wars. I think that's a little. I think he's got a little hand up in that. Also, he had a stolen base as well, but he did get picked off, so that wasn't a good look. But Kevin Pillar's been through everything and had a solid MLB career, so I feel like if he puts up a really solid spring training, he's got a big time shot because Eli White has two minor league options. Sam Hilliard's got some speed as well, so I think we're gonna incorporate the stolen base a little more, which I like. I don't know what the prospects are for Forrest Wall, but he has lightning speed, so that's an interesting name to watch. Spring training wise, Dylan Dodd may be a sneaky fifth starter guy, because his innings on Saturday were impressive. I believe he had 3 strikeouts and his 2 innings took about 2 minutes and 29 seconds. He was that dominant and struck out Red Sox regular Christian Arroyo. So Dylan Dodd could be a sneaky guy to watch. Pitching wise, I'm wondering if we'll see like a Jared Schuster or something. This spring training, I don't know, but Dylan Dodd has definitely opened my eyes, especially considering he's a lefty. And we don't have a lot of lefties other than Max Fried, so that excuse me, that could be very, very important. Yaxel Rios is another guy to keep an eye on as well. He had a good appearance yesterday against the Yankees. Couple of strikeouts, easy breezy. Yeah, Dylan Dodd looked absolutely filthy in 93, 95, and he's used to the pitch clock. I think that helps as well. I think Dylan Dodd's probably not going to make the roster, but my surprise make the roster. Huh. I'm trying to think. Surprise make the roster. It would surprise maybe a Chadwick Trump type, because if we want Travis d'Arnaud to DH more, because you for late game situations, for matchup purposes, if you want to pinch hit for Travis or Sean, you're not likely going to pinch hit for Sean, but for Travis against the tough lefty or something, maybe. Yeah, Darius Vines is another. Thank you, Jameson, for that. I forgot about him. Darius Vines looked really good as well. I was hoping Victor Vodnik would look better because I've always liked him and liked his stuff, and his name is cool. But he got lit up a little bit. But I think my surprise would be if we carry third catcher, to be honest. But surprise name overall, my biggest bold prediction is that we may cut Marcelo Zuna, and he doesn't make the roster. That's a bold-ish statement, although him not really hitting anything may not make it super bold, but 32 million makes that a little bit bold there. So those are my guys to watch. Dylan Dodd, Vines. Again, I'm wondering if we see a Schuster or something. And maybe if Braden Shoemake continues to have good at-bats, he could be a utility. I'm not saying that's definitive, but that's another quiet, weird possibility, because I think it's kind of make it or break it time for Braden Shoemake, because we've revamped and altered his swing 3 or 4 times, and it looks like now that he's kind of found it a little bit. And I think Jordan Luplow has lost a little bit of time with his nagging oblique. So that's opened the door for Kevin Pillar, Eli White, and Sam Hilliard to show what they can do. And my favorite part so far is that Ronald Acuna Jr. looks fully healthy. He scored from first twice on Madelson doubles. Well, one of them was turned into a homer, but scored for first twice before he knew it was a homer. So I really like that. And I think the Braves hitters and pitchers have adjusted pretty darn well to the pitch clock. Yeah, and Shoemake finally clicking could be a nice little random out of the blue kind of Braves thing that always happens for utility purposes. The Vaughn Grisham is looking very, very solid. Had a single Saturday against the Red Sox. Really looks solid defensively. Hasn't had a lot of chances, but done what he's done. Worked his absolute tail off. Had a sacrifice fly today, so he looks hungry. He looks ready. He looks solid so far. And obviously, it's only 3 games in, but he's been working tirelessly. So really happy. Really happy with VG so far. Michael Soroka deserves good health. Unfortunately, he's still dealing with that hamstring, but still, and hasn't pitched off the mound since arriving in camp yet, which is unfortunate. But excuse me. All right. Well, you can call him Mike, except if you meet him, you better say Michael Soroka. I honestly think he did that just for luck purposes, because every time we call him Mike, Achilles bust or something, and it might be a superstition thing, which I can't fault Michael, because it's just been a real shame, his luck with injuries. That's just the brutality of sports that none of us like to see. And I think once Ronald leaves for the WBC, that's going to open up some play for. I was not aware of that, so that is good instinctual stuff. Um, Instinctual stuff there, Hudson. Did that happen today? Uh, oh yeah, that's right. The ABC baseball stuff. I read that wrong. I thought you said he got in a rundown. But yeah, the ABC baseball stuff is going to be super vital as it always is. But that stuff killed us last year. You're right, it did. And him being down in the lineup, that really him being down in the lineup really makes it yeah, the catching is going to be Murphy and Travis d'Arnaud, and we've always had a good catching duo, but this is going to absolutely obliterate anything we've seen so far. But why I say that we may carry a third catcher is because Alex Anthopoulos has said that he wants Travis to DH more because you want two of your better players always in the lineup. So carrying a third catcher while Contreras was moved because no, Travis has not played yet. Contreras was moved because the new rules. Sean Murphy is basically a younger version of JT Realmuto in terms of defense, and with the new rules, the pitch clock and stolen bases probably being more prevalent in the game of baseball, and pickoffs are probably going to be a thing. And Sean Murphy has one of the fastest pop times in baseball, 1.89. So that yeah, I I love Willie C. But he projects more as a DH than he does a catcher, even though he improved leaps and bounds last year and was really solid. It's just with these new rules and the pitch clock and Sean's defensive ability is just uh, above and beyond, and I just that's why it happens. And to be able to get a top 3 catcher in baseball and not give up your top prospects in the process is pretty darn good, even though the price was steep. It's going to be well worth it. Plus the extension, it just makes it all the more worth it. And Hudson and Travis d'Arnaud has not played yet. I'm guessing he might play tomorrow, but I know he's been working in the backfields and such. But yeah. But the Brewers did a nice job getting William Contreras. That was a nice deal for them, and I can't fault him for it because he is a great DH. And he's a solid catcher. I just don't know how the new rules will affect him, or if they will. I don't know. Some guys that we yeah. Um, Um, and I felt really awesome because when the Murphy trade went down, that's the first thing I thought of was the new rules. And like I got so many comments where like I didn't even think about that, and I was like, that was a flex on a moment, and I felt really good about that. So, um, obviously, we're gonna see how it plays out. But Sean absolutely obliterated the ball today, and he had about 67 walks last year, so he's like the entire full package. And I'm really, really excited for those prospects. I just really wish we didn't have to deal with the whole Marcelo Zuna cloud, and I hope it works itself out, and I think it's going to. But the idea that Marcelo Zuna hasn't changed or worked on his hitting mechanics is kind of annoying to me, and so we'll see if it picks up at all for Marcel. And there's a lot of times in every sport that we watch, there's a player that we really don't care for that's on our roster, but we swallow it because there's good there. So if Marcel somehow hits 35 homers and 260 or something to that, then I guess I'll swallow it, but I'll not be necessarily happy. And if that happens, it's gonna be probably not likely, but it is what it is right now, because 32 million, and we've already tried to move him twice, and Marcelo Zuna always seems to come up in these lives no matter what subject we're on. But I think that's the only clouded situation so far. The rest of the battles, per se, are really fun to watch and play out. Some relievers we haven't seen yet. Colin McHugh, AJ Minter, Nick Anderson, those guys we haven't seen yet. I'm pretty sure I'm maybe missing a few, but Brian Moran had draftees. What that would be Owen Murphy and J.R. Ritchie. No, I haven't. I could be wrong. Jameson, have you seen any of the younger guys? I don't think I have. Luke Waddle was a pick a couple of years ago, maybe even 2019. He had a nice backhanded play up the middle against the Red Sox. So he's one of the draft prospects most recently. But this latest draft, I don't think we've seen anyone yet. I think it might be too early for them to get a look in major league camp. But all I can think of, the main two guys of that was J.R. Ritchie and Owen Murphy, and I don't think we've seen anything of them yet. Now I think they might be a year or two away. Maybe at least a year. Just because they're so young. I mean, even for the Braves, they're so young to even take a look at them. Even though it's gonna be fun to follow those two guys, especially those two arms. So that's a nice thing. Yeah. Russell Westbrook's a good example. Even though I think Russell Westbrook's kind of a good dude. I don't I don't know. Um I do know that I know that we have one of the lowest ranking farm systems, but again, that doesn't really mean much because the Braves always find a Spencer Strider, a um, Michael Harris II, a Vaughn Grisham that you don't think is going to be up for a couple of years, but um, then just explodes onto the scene. So um, I think we're all just kind of waiting on that, and I think Dylan Dodd. I think Dylan Dodd might be that guy this year. You might get tired of me saying that name, but I think that's just the reality. But yeah, I don't think Russell's that bad of a guy. Um, Yeah, there's always potential in every guy, and we in our trades, um, the which guy we gave up a lot of guys to the Athletics. Kyle Muller or Freddie Tarnock had a nice little debut in spring training for the Athletics. I think a couple of days ago. Um, yeah, and I think it just depends on where you get drafted. Like it does if you get drafted on the Braves, like Hudson just said, you can have Christian Pache. Yeah, Christian Pache he can defend the lights out, but he just can't get consistent with the bat. He strikes out way too much, even too much for even too much for MLB standards today. It's and I love the kid. He's got so much of a personality and and um sometimes it just never works for whatever reason, and I hope he finds it because I love him so much as a person, and he did some solid stuff for us in 2020. But getting us Matt Olson feels really good, and uh, Matt Olson is tearing the cover off the ball. And I think I love Freddie, but I think we made the right move. Yep, yep, yep. And Michael Harris ended up being Andrew Jones. So there, I mean, and if you want to throw that name that way, um, yeah. So I mean, and the Braves have an uncanny ability to pull the plug when they know when they feel it's right, and I don't think they've been wrong. Uh, been wrong one time or another, but for the most part, they are right. When they pull a plug on a certain guy, um, like a William Contreras um, or Christian Pache or Ender fell off after the 200 hit All Star season he had. He just had a bunch of leg injuries and just he was the Marcelo Zuna, but not as bad. He was just like really terrible on the field, and it just and we you know it it was the Marcell Ozuna before Marcell Ozuna, except that Ender just lost it on the field. Yeah, Matt is gonna do some insane things. I predicted a quiet MVP type of season from Matt Olson, and the funny thing is, Matt hit a homer on Saturday. So did Freddie, but everybody was like, Matt did it first. So I think I think we're still always gonna have that link between Matt and Freddie, but yeah, well, Austin typically has slow springs and slow starts. For whatever reason, it always seems to happen. I don't know. He had some good he had a productive out today, got hit by a pitch. So he reached base a couple times. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Um yeah. Um Yeah, that we just I just that's why I prefer the way the Braves do it, the extension wise, and um our extensions versus San Diego Padres extensions. Give me the Braves every day of the week. But yeah, William Contreras, I would take William Contreras 1,000% at DH right now. But you're right, it was just a casualty of getting a good player, and no, because Bogarts, Machado, and if they sign Juan Soto may be the only one that's technically worth those contracts because you can't expect those guys to live up to the numbers, and um I every contract that was signed this offseason, I just knew we weren't going to get Dansby back because of the astronomical numbers people were signing for, and it's just not the way we do it. So I'm hoping we were able to work something out with Max Fried, but that's another one where he loves LA. He's gonna get the bag, but paying pitchers uh, a ton of money is risky. So let's just enjoy Max Fried while we have him. Um, um, yeah, that's that's the beauty of the Braves. I believe we factor in regression, and we factor in that the guys really want to be here. And I always go back to the Chipper Jones thing of, if you want to be a Brave, be a Brave. If you want to be with whatever team you're on, be on that team. Don't act like you're not leaving because of money. I understand there's other factors, but Dansby Dansby's kind of doing the read between the lines thing. He wasn't sure if Chicago's the place to win, but now he's comfortable. Blah blah blah. Dude, you left because they paid you 177 million dollars, and you wanted to be closer to Mallory, and your grandpa's story and all that stuff. I can believe the grandpa story and the Mallory thing, but give me the read between the lines thing. I just don't like that. I just would prefer as families should factor in a lot, and I'm not bashing Dansby for that. I just wish athletes would be a little bit more real when it comes to that. And yes, the Padres are pushing their chips in the middle, and that's the other thing that I'm wary of when you sign a big contract or multiple big contracts to one team, because only one team is going to be happy at the end of the season, lifting that World Series trophy, and pushing all your chips to 3 or 4 players and not having a well-balanced team that can really backfire. And I think that is where the Padres are headed. I really do. I think that is definitely where the Padres are headed. And although, look, I respect them. They're trying to put a winning product on the field and glitz and glamour and superstars and all that stuff. But like I said earlier, I believe almost the role players you put around your superstars are more important than the superstars almost. Remember, 2021, we required 4 outfielders for Ronald Acuna Jr. And did they perform at the route of Ronald Acuna Jr.? No. But collectively, they did a dang good job. But those are the role players that are vitally important. And I don't know that the Padres have enough in the bullpen and have enough role players and things of that nature to make it work. Plus, you're playing the Dodgers, like Jameson said. So the Dodgers and the Giants are always pesky. So I think that's the reality of it, and that's how baseball goes. But I think I appreciate that more than kind of like the Rockies doing absolutely nothing and saying nothing about it, even though Chris Bryant's looked good early on in spring, which is amazing for them. But I think they're kind of a disgrace to baseball right now. Not having a product, a proud product, given how great a sports town that is. I just don't like that. But I love how the Braves construct their roster always, and they're acutely aware of everything, and we try to make our roster better no matter what we do, and that is the most important and most important and fun thing, because things come out of nowhere, like the Spencer Strider extension, the Austin Riley extension, the Michael Harris II extension. All of those extensions came out of really nowhere. So yeah, the Rockies have a great fan base, but it feels like somebody that I talked to and work with a lot said that, yeah, I talked to and work a lot said that they just randomly throw out $100 million contract just to say that they did, that it has really no bearing or good result to it's not a good baseball move. They just make it so that they say that they can. And I don't know why. It's like Marcell Ozuna and the Rockies always come up in these lives, but that's just how it goes. I'm hoping the Angels come out of nowhere, but I don't know because I thought that, yeah, and then get the return of a Gatorade and some Doritos for a guy like Nolan Arenado. Are you kidding? Like, their returns are putrid. But I don't know if the Angels. I want the Angels to come out of nowhere, but I don't know if they can because their ownership is staying put, and I think they needed something new and something fresh, and I don't know that they're gonna get it at all. But that's a team I want to see take a step forward. The Orioles were a bit disappointing this offseason. I thought they would do a little more. They didn't, especially with the young core they're building. But it is what it is. From those perspectives, the Blue Jays look solid on paper, and Vlad Jr. looks incredible. So he could be a sneaky. Yeah, that's a good comparison, Hudson. I just read that again. The Marlins definitely do that, and Jazz Chisholm seems to not be adjusting to center field. Too great. Couple of routine plays dropped in front of him early on, and I'm not trying to bag on Jazz Chisholm because he's a great athlete, but Adam Duvall struggled last year when he was our full-time center fielder. It worked for 2021, but um, it worked for 2021. But you saw that Adam struggled, and then when we moved him to the corner outfield, he blasted off again. And going Jazz Chisholm going from second base, a solid second base, to one of the toughest, most important positions on the field. I don't know if that one's going to work out. I like the Luis Ariz addition, giving up Pablo Lopez. That was a little, but the Marlins kind of are a weird one that I can never really figure out. But their pitching is always pesky, and they're always pesky overall. Because anyone with Sandy Alcantara is going to be really insane. But I'll see if there's any other news and notes before I let off. Ugh. LaMelo Ball just twisted his foot. Yay! Great. I don't know why my. Yeah, it seems like they're not putting their best player in the best position to succeed somewhat, and that's a little unfortunate for the Marlins and for Jazz. But we'll see how it works. I don't want him to do well against the Braves, never do, but or he can do well against the Braves. Let's just make sure we win. How about that? But yeah, he seemed to not adjust too well to it so far, but it's a big adjustment, so we'll see. Other guys that we haven't seen yet for the Braves that I'm excited to see is Joe Jimenez. I forgot about him. But I think Travis might be the only regular and that we haven't seen. But very oh yeah, he's on the show cover too, so hopefully that curse doesn't happen. I don't think it hit Shohei Ohtani, but I think Shohei got hurt the year that he was on the cover, if I'm not mistaken. So, oh wait, he was on the cover last year. Maybe did. I don't know, but I think the Madden curse is more prevalent than the show curse, but the show curse has a little bit. So hopefully that doesn't hit Jazz either. But who knows? I haven't seen anything on Sean Newcomb yet in spring for the Giants. I'm wondering if their pitching magic will work for him. I doubt it. But if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be the Giants, and I really wish some good things for Sean, because that start against the Dodgers was magical. It didn't finish the way we wanted it to, but it was magical. And I don't know if you guys have the same feeling, but like when a player leaves our organization, I don't want them to. Oh yeah, Kirby Yates. I forgot about him. That's right. Kirby Yates is going to be very, very, very interesting to see. I did read where he's a lot more comfortable, and he's just gotta throw the ball now. So he's in that stage of his um, development or post Tommy John thoughts. So that is huge for Kirby. You're right. We haven't seen Kirby yet, but he may be him, AJ, Minter, Charlie Morton. And the only regular batter we haven't seen is Travis, so we'll see how that works. But that is, I think that's all I have for today. Any other questions or thoughts before? Oh yeah. Ozzy had a cleanup of his throwing shoulder. I think he kept it quiet because he didn't want people to freak out. But he's looked solid at the dish and should start playing in the field this coming week or so, the start of March. So that is yeah, it was out of nowhere, but I think it was out of nowhere because he wanted to keep it quiet because he didn't want people to freak out like people tend to do in spring training. But Ozzy looks really solid. Some really good at bats, and he had a 4-pitch walk the other day. So, and that doesn't happen for Ozzy, and I think Ozzy is gonna be very important for Vaughn, just to keep Vaughn calm out there and just keep it loose, keep it good. I haven't seen if we're still gonna do the sword slash or we're doing something different for when good stuff happens. I'm not sure. But that'll be fun to see. But other than that, I think that is all I have. As always, go Braves, champions forever. We don't play on TV for another 10 days or so. So I will be following it on my phone with all the updates, and you can catch it on my YouTube. As always, I will have it all covered. As always, go Braves, champions forever. And we'll talk next week. Peace out, guys. Thanks.